You wouldn't abandon a motorcycle on the open road. Yet, so many of us are abandoning our financial future without even realizing it. Welcome back to Full Time Freedom. It's Melissa Hussong. And in today's episode, I'm sharing a story of a real time where I accidentally made $900 in dividends that I discovered in my account. And it made me realize that investing equals freedom for my bank account, for my time, and also for my future. Investing in motorcycles have a lot in common, surprisingly. So, I'm putting this conversation within that context to make it more fun and interesting. Discovering $900 in dividends was like when you take a new route on your motorcycle and you discover this new place that you love so much that you want to go back to again and again. All you need to do is figure out the route and how to get there. At the end of this episode, I'm going to share with you a house update and a packing update, and also the manifestation principle that is giving me freedom this week. My intention with this episode is to bring your awareness to an easy way to make more money and create more freedom in your bank account, but also to create freedom with your time so that you can live your life however you want. Now, I feel so strongly about this topic that you might as well consider this episode a manifesto. The patriarchy wants you to think investing is hard. And this is keeping a lot of women from doing it. But take it from me, who I've been doing it for a while now, investing is actually really easy. I made this episode for you so that you can understand and help see that you can invest no matter where you're at financially right now. And ultimately, I intend to give you the courage to open an investment account and start investing. Sound good? Okay, kickstands up. Let's go. So, what's the story here? A couple of weeks ago, I was checking my financial accounts. Now, I make a habit of doing this monthly just to check in where I'm at. And randomly, I was poking around and I found $900 sitting in an investment account that I didn't know about. So, I dug a little bit deeper and I was like, that's weird. What's this money? It's not really attached to anything. So, I look into it. Turns out it was dividends that I'd made from 27 Walmart stocks that I purchased over two transactions. The first being August 2020. I bought 3 Walmart stocks because I'd never done it before. And I was like, I don't know, let me just dip my toes and buy 3. I don't even know why that's such a random number. So I bought them at $45 back then. And then the next month, September 2020, I bought 24 because I guess I was feeling good about my decision and the money went through. I wasn't scammed. I bought those at $49 a share. So I still have those stocks. And from 27 stocks in 6 years, I made just under $900 in dividends just for the privilege of owning that paper over the past 6 years. I thought that was pretty cool. And I was like, got me thinking. Now, I'm keeping it pretty simple here in this episode. I do have other investment accounts, but everyone knows Walmart and the numbers are really easy and clean. I am not providing investment advice. This is simply general education on money and investing. Now, what does $900 get me? Well, $900 is enough for a new helmet if I wanted. I could take an epic motorcycle road trip. I could fly to Japan if I wanted. I could pay for a year of extracurriculars for my kids. I could put that money into an education account for my kids. I could reinvest it and I could make even more money. So that's just an idea of what that money could get me. I have a ton of options. But the main point here is now that I have more money, I have the freedom to decide what to do with it. And it also gives me freedom knowing that I can roll the throttle on my financial future and decide which route in life that I want to take. Now, a big side note here that I realized in hindsight, having discovered that money sitting in an account, those dividends weren't being reinvested. So you live and you learn. That was just money going into a cash account with a very low return. So honestly, I'm not even sure when I made these stock purchases that I was going to get dividends from owning that stock. And I didn't really plan for the situation, okay? So if you do invest in a stock or a EFT or something like that, and you like that and you would like to buy more of that in the future, always make sure you check that your dividends are being reinvested, okay? Because that's really cool. It's also going to grow your position over time as you buy more of those stocks. It's just happening on autopilot in the background. We love that. The past couple weeks, I've been marinating on like this whole dividend situation and this experience. And I've actually been kind of like testing and asking all the women I know and being like, hey, are you investing? What are you investing in? Just simply asking women where you're at with investing. And a lot of those little combos were generally like, everyone was like, yeah, I want to. I've heard about it, but I don't know how to do it. And in all of these conversations, I was like, oh, that's interesting. We want to do it, but we don't know, but we feel like also we're missing out on something. And I realized that if, okay, so here's the truth of it all. Women aren't investing as much as we should be. You know who is? Men. Men are investing. Women are investing. Mostly because we don't think that we can. We'll talk about that later. But here's the really simple math, okay? And here's the shocking truth. Okay, so I looked at these numbers and I was like, oh, $900 over 6 years. What if I had doubled that initial investment, doubled that principal? Well, reasonably, I would have double the dividends, 1,800 in dividends. I would have, if I had tripled that original principal that I invested, I would potentially have 2,400 in dividends over those 6 years. It would actually, in real terms, it would be more than that because of compounding, and I would have bought more stocks that would have like compounded better. So dang, the point here is if I put more in, I would be getting better returns. So if you multiply that approximately over the course of my lifetime, I would be a fucking rich bitch. Plus the appreciation of the shares if I ever chose to sell them. And all that is because I decided to make a decision to learn to invest in the stock market, and I bought a couple of shares. Nothing crazy, okay? And this is giving me freedom because it lets me know that I can do whatever with my time in the interim because my money is working for me. I can also cash out those earnings and get like a lump sum injection anytime I want. If anything happens, if I want to treat myself, do something for my family, that is another decision that is also an option open to me, which just gives me freedom. But here's the thing, right? We all know the statistics. Women make significantly less over a lifetime than men do. We make less than men working the same job. We make less than men doing the same exact work. We retire with less money than men do over a lifetime. We spend more years out of the workforce due to carrying responsibilities that are not paid. Women are more likely to stay in an abusive relationship because we literally cannot afford to leave. The patriarchy wants us to think investing is hard. And thinking that it is hard keeps a lot of women from doing it. But take it from me, investing is actually easy. You can invest. In fact, your future depends on it. Investing gives you peace of mind, especially as women, to control your financial future without needing to rely on anyone or stay in a toxic relationship. And this is really why I love talking about this on my podcast. And it might feel scary hearing a lot of terms that I'm talking about today, but I strongly believe that exposure is what matters. Okay. This is why I talk about it on my podcast. This is why we talk about money and investing. By talking about it, We normalize women talking about money. We normalize women talking to other women about money. We normalize women desiring money that in our life we can be more apologetic about this topic. We can feel comfortable negotiating and knowing our worth, and are getting our finances in gear to make more money over the course of our lifetime. Freedom, financial freedom is really fucking powerful, and investing is going to help you get there. So you might be listening to this and thinking, well, Mel, I don't know, I can't start investing. You might be thinking, it's too late, Mel. Like, the market is crazy. Have you seen the prices? We're at all-time highs. There is opportunity everywhere you look for it. And you can also buy fractional stocks. If you, for example, you look up Apple and you're like, whoa, I can't afford $320 approximately per share. Well, if you have $20 to invest this month, you can buy a fraction of a stock and you'll still receive dividends. And that fractional stock will still appreciate. You're just going to have a smaller piece that's going to appreciate, that's going to accrue dividends, and then you can reinvest those dividends so that you can increase your position and buy more of that stock in the future. You might be thinking, Mal, it's too late for me. I've missed the boat. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I'm too old for that, or I missed it. That ship has sailed. You are not too late. The universe is always on time. And maybe this episode is your sign. I've been hearing this quote lately from the Bible that goes something like, God will restore the years that the locusts took. So when the famine happened and the locusts came and they ate all the yummy foods, the universe, God, is going to restore the time where you had lean times, where you couldn't do this or that. And what is yours by divine right will always be yours. You are never too late. You might be thinking, well, Mal, I can't afford that. I can't afford to purchase stocks. That's crazy. Okay, to that I say, what have you bought in the past that you no longer use? Literally right now, as you're listening to this, go through your cupboards, just open a random cupboard in your house, doesn't matter what room, and just go through there and like pick up the things and hold them in your hand that you didn't use or that you like hardly ever use, and think about how much it costs, add up those numbers, and think, if I invested that money at that point in time, it could have doubled by now, it could have tripled by now, and you might be making income, passive income, dividend income from that money that you invested. Okay. So it's less about how much you invest, it's less about how much money, it's more about time in the market. So the earlier you invest, the more time your money is compounding, the dividends are compounding, you're reinvesting. So that's what's important. The sooner you invest, the more you can take advantage of compound interest and increase your investments over time. That's where the gold is. You might also be thinking, Mel, I can't invest. This just isn't a priority for me right now. Totally understand. Here's the thing. Everyone is shouting for your attention, and your future self will never have a voice unless you give it to her. Make yourself a priority. You might be thinking, Mel, I can't invest. I don't know enough. Secret, okay? No one fucking knows enough. No one. This must be learned and it can take time. But nobody sat me down and said, Mel, start investing and like do this and this and this. Okay. No one told me to learn this. So I even have a master's degree in economics. Okay. I went to like college for this and then grad school, have a master's in economics. I don't know, like 6-8 years or something of studying a tangential topic to finance. They don't even teach this, okay? I wish they did. Maybe if they did, we'd have more female millionaires and more female billionaires. I said it. Find a friend, do it together, and empower each other. I always say we go further faster when we go together. So, literally, hold hands with your bestie, dive in, learn about how to invest your money. Well, I'm going to tell you how to do that, but do it together because it's more fun. But let me ask you this, okay? If you're like, oh, Mal, I don't know enough about investing. When you were a baby, did you literally give up on learning to walk because you didn't know how yet? I don't think so. You might also be thinking, Mel, I don't need to invest right now. To that, I will say, do you want to leave your financial future up to someone else? Do you want to leave it up to a spouse? To a government? Because let me tell you, if you don't take control of your financial future, of your finances, someone else sure as hell will. And no one cares more about you than you, other than maybe your mum, but mostly you. And only you have your best interests at heart. Okay, so it wasn't that long ago that women didn't have control of our lives, okay? We had no right to vote. Women were not able to own property. Women were not able to own a bank account. We were traded like property. Your ancestors did what they did and they lived their lives so that you could be here now. And when you invest, you are adding knowledge and experience to your motherline and you are helping it heal for generations to come. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, getting into the nitty gritty. Number one, look at your bank account. Go right now, open it up, open up that app, and just check your expenses. Look at what you earn every month and just briefly set aside, figure it out. How much can you afford to set aside every month? If you can do $20 a month, great. If you can do $20 a week, great. It's less about how much money and more about the money that is in the market. The longer the time in the market, the better. Not so much the amount that matters. Okay, so the sooner you invest, the more you can take advantage of compounding and increase your investments over time. If you're reinvesting the dividends, then your position is going to increase. You'll have more stocks over time, which gets you more dividends, which means you can reinvest more, get more stocks over time, repeat, 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 compound, compound. True freedom on a motorcycle does not come from being ridiculous on the throttle and going at a breakneck speed, okay? It comes from being really smooth on the throttle, progressively rolling on, rolling off with intention, and you're building momentum gradually. You're keeping that momentum. And that is what we mean. That is what we're doing with this compound interest. We're putting away manageable amounts of money every single month so it doesn't feel crazy and it's a slow acceleration, okay? But over the years, this smooth, consistent rolling of the throttle is going to be a snowball effect. And before you know it, you're going to be like, whoa, where'd all these dividends come from? So it's going to push you down the highway faster and you're going to be safer because you're like not redlining, like crazy rolling the throttle. You're like, whoa, I know what I'm doing. I'm comfortable. This is sustainable. Let's roll, baby. Step 2, we're going to open a brokerage account, something like Fidelity. This might change depending on where in the world you are. Just look up brokerage accounts in your area and see what's going to work for you. Okay, we're going to set up automatic deposits from your bank to this brokerage account. We're going to make sure that transfer is automatic and it's going to hit within a day or two of you getting paid, so that like your paycheck's going to hit your bank account and then within like a couple days that transaction to your brokerage account is going to happen. Okay, so this is what we're doing when we do that. We're paying ourselves first before we pay everyone else in the world and spend all our money on all of the things that we kind of forget even happen. We're paying ourselves first. Step 3, we're going to pick our investments, and I'm going to keep it easy for you and tell you what Warren Buffett recommends. Probably, arguably, the most successful investor in the world ever. Very big name in investing. Okay, so he recommends for beginners, for people who aren't like super interested in following the day-to-day of the markets, We don't have time. And honestly, like, I don't even want to do that if I have time. Okay, so what we're going to do, he recommends buying low cost S&P 500 index funds. So Standard & Poor's index funds. This is for beginners. Okay, so by buying like one stock in an index fund of the S&P, what you're actually doing is you're buying the market, because within that stock, they have already like bought the stocks from the market. So you're just buying one little piece of what they are saying is representative of the top 500 companies. But it really simplifies things for you. You don't have to think about all these different companies. Should you buy them? What's a good price? Blah, blah, blah. You just go, cool, S&P index. That's tracking the market anyway. So by owning a piece of that, I'm actually owning a piece of the market. And that one stock is going to get you those automatic dividends. And remembering that if we like a stock and we're in it for the long term, we're going to be reinvesting those dividends. So here's the thing, in the motorcycle context, you wouldn't leave the driveway without a helmet, you wouldn't leave without wearing your jacket, your gloves, your boots. But we're putting that gear on all the time no matter what. Do you put that gear on because you're leaving today and you're like, "Oh, I'm planning on having a crash today"? No, we're putting it on as prevention, okay? You put it on because you are respecting that there is some risk happening and there is risk inherent in the act of riding a motorcycle. And there might be variables outside of your control. I don't know, maybe there's oil on the road. I don't know, maybe there's like a little, I don't know, wombat or possum who's going to cross the road and create a hazard in front of you. Maybe there's gravel on the pathway. The gear doesn't stop you from crashing, okay? It doesn't stop that situation, but it is going to make sure that if something does come across your path, like if you do make a mistake, that it's not going to kill you. It's not going to ruin your life. The stock market is the same, okay? So we're taking riding gear. We're going into this knowing that there is risk involved, but it's calculated risk, and we're preparing ourselves for something to happen. So that's why we're diversifying. And that's why Warren Buffett is like, buy an index fund that's representing the market, because realistically, we don't know day to day, unless you're a Warren Buffett or someone who professionally does this, like, you're buying an index, you're automatically diversifying what you own, and that's going to protect you in the long run. Okay, so putting all your money into, like, I don't know, a SpaceX, for example, or like a cryptocurrency, something that is like maybe a little more speculative. It's like riding a sport bike in like a t-shirt and flip-flops on the highway. It might feel like, whoa, like a thrill of adrenaline until something happens and you go sideways and you're fucked. When you diversify through this Warren Buffett strategy, you're spreading your money across different sectors, markets, and it's really going to protect you long term. Number 4, the next thing we're going to do is keep doing it. We're going to keep investing, rain, hail, or shine. Okay, as motorcyclists, you'll know about target fixation is when you're staring at something that you don't want to hit, like there's something on the road in front of you, like a light pole or a pothole, for example, and you're like, don't hit the pothole, don't hit the pothole, don't hit the pothole. And then you ride exactly into the pothole. In the last episode, I talk in depth about target fixation and a story of when I almost hit a curb and ruined my motorcycle, but I avoided it just in time. So imagine you're riding your motorcycle and you're taking a turn and suddenly, boom, pothole. And then you automatically are hitting the pothole just because you're thinking about it and you're looking at it. Okay. So when we're riding a motorcycle, we need to be scanning with our peripheral vision, but also looking directly in the way of the path where we want to go. We have our eyes on the outcome, and then that is where we're going to ride. That's the road that we're actually going to hit. And the stock market is going to throw us potholes. It's going to throw dips, highs and lows, baby. That's the whole cycle. But when you are target fixating, you're like, oh my gosh, we're in a dip. It's crazy. Sell. So that's where people can get a little panicky. You kind of are focusing on this crazy, scary stuff, and it's going to drive you right out of the market. But what we want to do is keep our eyes on the outcome, keep our eyes on the goal, and be like, yep, this is just a natural dip. Okay, long term, it's going to increase. It's going to be fine. We're looking through the volatility. We're keeping our eyes on the destination, whether that's like 10, 20 years down the road. But just knowing that like currently this dip might be happening, but eyes on the prize. So keep investing. That's the moral there. We're going to keep investing. Okay, monthly investing by, regardless of when we're in like a good market or a low market, monthly investing, no matter the conditions, okay? This is called dollar cost averaging. This is another Warren Buffett like favorite concept. So it's about slow and steady investing over the long term. It ain't glamorous. It is definitely not sexy, okay? Like some people riding motorcycles choose not to wear the gear. They choose not to wear helmets. That's their choice. But I know without a helmet, if something happens, you're going to be fucked. Okay. So with dollar cost averaging, we're just like taking that out of the equation. We're like, you know what? It ain't sexy, but like we're going to be rich bitches. So who gives a fuck? Step 5. This is the fun part. Okay, so we've set up, we know how much we're investing, we're doing it relentlessly, no matter what the conditions. The next thing is we're going to be empowering ourselves and feeding our mind content that is good for us. Okay, we're reinforcing this financial wellness, we're reinforcing this wealth mindset, we're feeling good where our money is going, we have goals, we have an idea of where this money is going to get us, what we're going to be able to afford and achieve with the money. Okay, so let's keep feeding that, all right? We want to give ourselves beautiful content. I really like the Yahoo Finance app. There may be others out there. Certainly give it a research. Read articles about finance and economics and investing, even if they don't make sense, okay? Just keep on reading because the words will sink in. You will understand them over time. You will look up terms. It's going to just kind of really sink into your subconscious, this exposure to investment, and you will become more and more proficient in these topics. So, like riding motorcycles, exposure over time, you don't immediately get on a motorcycle and hit the highway. No, you have to practice. You have to know all the ins and outs. You're like learning the clutch, you're learning the brakes, you're learning all these little finer things, but it comes over time. So eventually it does become like muscle memory. You'll get to know economic trends, why stocks are going up, why stocks are going down, why certain stocks had a good earnings quarter, why some didn't, why some economies do better than others. Just keeping up to date on these little, I don't know, pieces of fun facts, and then you can share the knowledge because knowledge is power, and you are more powerful than a 2000cc engine. Before long, you will have built this little investment portfolio into an additional income stream in addition to your 9 to 5. So it's basically ultimately going to be a side hustle without the hustle because you're making this passive income from dividends, which is fucking cool. All right, I want to break down some lessons here. Now that I've been investing in the stock market since my mid-20s, I can look back and say, first thing, it was really fucking worth it. Second thing, I wish I invested more. And the third thing, I wish I started earlier. All boiled down to 3 real simple lessons. Now, we ride motorcycles and we invest for the same reasons. Same reason. Freedom. There is an unmatched feeling when you hit a stretch of empty highway, hand on the throttle, 2 lanes opening out in front of you. Maybe the sun is setting on the horizon. You're feeling in the zone. You're not watching the time. You're totally in another world, just in that moment. You're not worrying about the daily grind. This is what a healthy portfolio is going to bring you. When you have that passive income and that compounding growth over time, your expenses are, well, the growth of your portfolio is going to surpass your expenses. You might be able to, okay, the earlier you start the better, and the quicker it's going to happen. You'll be able to get off the hamster wheel. Okay, you might be able to leave that soul crushing job that you stay at because you can't afford to leave, or you're desperate, you just need to stay. Okay, you'll be able to support your kids. You could leave an abusive relationship. You could travel the world. You could create intergenerational wealth. You gain the autonomy to turn the key, pick a direction, and just ride wherever you want, because your money is working for you as you go. So let's get our gear on, keep our eyes on our destination, and let the money roll on. Okay, shifting gears, I wanted to give you a packing update here for the house. So we're moving at the end of the month. We have like almost 4 weeks, just under 4 weeks to go. And I want to say that I was really overloaded with packing. I've just been walking around the house lately being like, oh my gosh, too much stuff, too much stuff. Where am I going to get the time to pack all of my stuff? But I was reminded this week, I'm listening to Catherine Ponder's book, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. You can find it on YouTube as an audiobook. It's really good. It's a great manifestation book, and it has advanced concepts beyond just like the real basic money mindset stuff. I really like it for that reason. She treats her readers as intelligent people who can like hold these concepts and understand them. So her book reminded me of this vacuum law in manifestation. And it states that in order to invite more abundance into your life, you first have to create a vacuum to be filled. So every time I've cleaned out my closet and I've thought, no, I'm so sick of all of these clothes. I just need to clear out. I just need the clutter gone. Every time I've done that, or I've cleared something else out in the house in that same way, more abundance floods in. But first, we have to create a vacuum, because the universe goes, oh, wait, you got rid of stuff. Let me fill that up and give you some more stuff. So I am getting rid of old, worn out things, and I'm creating a vacuum. So I'm decided that instead of packing things that I'm like not even interested in anymore, I'm going to get rid of them. I'm going to sell them. I'm going to donate them. I do not want all this clutter in my life anymore. I've even decided we're going to leave some furniture. We're going to get rid of furniture. So even though this house is larger than our current house, we're going to be creating an even bigger vacuum to invite new gorgeous things into our life. So that is what I'm doing. I'm giving up old, worn out things because they take up energy, and they also create this old, worn out vibe when you look at stuff. If you have a piece of clothing and you're like, oh, that doesn't fit anymore, that was from before I had kids or before my glow up, and that's not the vibe I want anymore. We're clearing it out. We're getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. If you liked this episode, if you got anything from my little investment chat, please help strengthen the sisterhood and share this episode with another woman in your life. We go further, faster when we go together. And this is where I'll hit the kill switch. I'll catch you on the next episode of Full Time Freedom. Ride safe. Bye.